The movie begins with a narration explaining the existence of multiple universes, forming a multiverse, along with the availability of technology for inter-universe travel. However, stringent restrictions and policing govern such travel. According to the narrator, each human simultaneously exists in the present time and the parallel universes, maintaining a delicate balance in the system. But recently, a disruptive force has emerged with the intention of destroying this balance in order to attain ultimate power that is regarded as the One. Yeah. In the next scene, we are shown a prisoner named Lawless, who is about to be transferred to another prison. A group of armed police force escort him to the police vehicle. But just before entering the vehicle, Lawless is suddenly shot by someone from an air vent. In immediate retaliation, the police force open fire towards the vent, but they are unable to locate the assailant. Not long after, a guy who appears exactly like Lawless shows up at the scene. This guy is Gabriel Yulaw, who possesses a supernatural ability. He is so fast that he can even dodge the bullets. This is just the Matrix. With his powers, he takes down all the police officers in no time and runs away. Shortly after, he is chased down by the Multiverse Authority, or MVA agents, Rodecker and Funch. Yulaw runs towards a specified location where he uses his high-tech watch to create a portal and travel to another universe. Just then, Funch arrives at the scene and connects his device with Yulaw's, altering the destination of the portal. Following this, he holds Yulaw at gunpoint, demanding that he surrender. When the latter refuses to comply, Rodecker knocks him using a car and tries to apprehend him. At the same time, a portal appears, and they all are teleported to the MVA headquarters in the Alpha universe. Once there, the other MVA agents restrain Yulaw and take him away, while the two agents are provided with the necessary medical aid. In the aftermath of this event, Yulaw is taken to the Universal Court, where the authorities list the crimes he committed in different universes. Here, it is revealed that Yulaw was once an MVA agent himself, but then he changed the path of his life. He started to hunt down the different variations of himself by traveling to alternate universes. His motive is to kill all 124 versions of his other selves and absorb their life energies so that he can become a superpowered godlike being called the One. Whoa. It turns out that he has already killed 123 variations of himself by now, with Lawless being the latest one from the Anubis universe. As a consequence of 123 charges of first-degree murder and 123 counts of unauthorized travel to parallel universes using illegal quantum tunneling, Yulaw is now sentenced to life imprisonment in the Stygian penal colony within the Hades universe. Cool names. This movie was written by a big old nerd. Afterwards, he is brought to a highly secured room and restrained to a special chair in order to teleport him to the Hades universe. Before initiating the portal, he is granted an opportunity to make a final statement. During this, Yulaw says that what he is doing is not a crime, asserting the impossibility of murdering oneself 123 times. He claims that he just took those wasted energies and put them into one container, his body. This has made him faster, smarter, and stronger. He also expresses the belief that it is their ultimate fate to unite with their other selves. Meanwhile, a girl who happens to be Yulaw's lover is also present in the room. She releases a white mouse from her shoe with a bomb planted in its body. She then detonates it with a trigger in her ring, creating a distraction and earning enough time for Yulaw to release himself. After taking down all the guards in the room, he manipulates the portal's destination and teleports himself to the Cheris universe, where the last variation of himself lives. The scene then cuts to the Cheris universe, where the final known variation, Gabe Law, serves as a deputy sheriff in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. He, along with his officers, are currently escorting a prisoner to the police van. Just like the earlier scene, they are attacked by Yulaw from the air vent, but this time, Gabe manages to protect the prisoner. After a while of gunfire, Yulaw runs away and easily leaps off a high wall using his ability. Gabe and the other officers chase him, and much to everyone's surprise, Gabe also manages to climb the wall and get to the other side. There, he is taken aback to see his own counterpart. Before Gabe can grasp the situation, Yula shoots him in his bulletproof vest. As he is about to finish him off, Rodecker and Funch show up in the nick of time, forcing Yula to retreat. After this, Gabe returns home, where his wife TK is relieved to see him unharmed. However, upon learning that he was shot, she urges him to go to the hospital for a general checkup. Gabe agrees, but he opts to take some time alone first. He then tries to understand his powers, while Yula is simultaneously practicing some fighting moves in a terrace. At this point, we learn that Gabe has developed the same strength, speed, and mental ability just like Yula. But he didn't have to kill himself 100 times to get it. He just participates in NoFap November on an annual basis. Later on, TK takes Gabe to the hospital, where his fellow police officers question him about the assailant. However, Gabe chooses to lie, claiming that he didn't see the assailant because it was too dark. Regardless, TK senses that he's withholding information and talks to him in private. Gabe then discloses that the assailant was none other than his doppelganger, and that he was inexplicably able to sense his presence while escorting the prisoner out. In addition, he clarifies that the doppelganger's intent was to kill him, not the prisoner. Hearing this, TK assumes that he is hallucinating because of the gunshot, so she arranges for him to undergo an MRI test. Following this, Gabe takes off all the magnetic substance from his body and goes for the MRI. In the midst of the test, Yula walks in and holds the doctor at gunpoint, but before he can pull the trigger, Rodecker and Funch intervene, demanding that he surrender. Yula deters them from shooting him, citing that if he is killed, Gabe would be left as the one. Despite this, the agents open fire, initiating a shootout between them all. Hearing the commotion, Gabe comes out of the scanning machine and hides behind a wall. Shortly after, Yula shoots one of the police officers and flees the scene. TK and the police officers witness him via CCTV camera and mistake him for Gabe. On the other hand, the real Gabe puts on his clothes and walks out, only to be confronted by his fellow officers. He tries hard to clear the misunderstanding, but the officers don't believe him. As a result, he fights his colleagues and escapes from the hospital. The MVA agents then decide to deviate from their initial orders and split up. Rodecker pursues Yula, while Funch goes after Gabe. After some time, Gabe notices Funch tailing him, so he confronts him and questions the agent about his identity. In response, the agent introduces himself and explains everything about multiple universes, as well as the restricted portal for inter-universe travel. He also tells him about Yula and his ultimate goal of killing Gabe to become the One. Since our hero is equally powerful, Funch requests his help in stopping Yula, who is on the verge of destroying the balance. However, Gabe doesn't believe his words and heads towards home. Meanwhile, Rodecker confronts Yula in an ambulance and holds him at gunpoint. However, the latter rams the vehicle into a crane and starts fighting the agent. An intense brawl ensues between the two, with Yula being the dominant one. After getting beaten up brutally, Rodecker pulls out a bomb in an attempt to stop all of this. However, his efforts prove futile, as Yula easily disables the bomb and kills him. Moments later, a patrolling officer arrives at the scene, ordering him to turn himself in. In return, Yula demonstrates his exceptional strength by crushing the officer with 2 bikes. Now that's what I call an endo. On the other hand, TK is escorted back home by a group of police officers. They start checking the entire house, suspecting Gabe's presence. Amidst this, TK goes to the bathroom and notices some bloodstains on the soap, which makes her aware that Gabe is here. As a result, she sends the officers out of her room, pretending to seek some privacy. Following this, she begins searching the room and locates Yula in a secret compartment in the ceiling. He poses as her husband and asks her for a gun. As she goes to retrieve a gun from the drawer, she notices another version of her husband outside, leaving her in shock. Unable to figure out who is the real one, she decides to conduct a small test. She asks Yula if he remembers how he proposed to her at a bookstore. When the latter confirms, TK realizes that he is not her husband and brandishes the gun at him. This is because Gabe had proposed to her at the clinic, not at a bookstore. Friggin' nerd. As soon as his identity gets exposed, Yula attacks and captures her. Gabe arrives at the scene, but he can only watch helplessly as Yula kills his wife. Hearing the commotion, the police officers break into the room and order Yula to drop the weapon. However, he uses his speed to escape from the scene. Gabe attempts to pursue him, but the officers, once again mistaking him for Yula, start firing at him. Just then, Funch shows up and rescues a guilt-ridden Gabe from the police. After this tragic event, Gabe finally agrees to join forces with Funch to confront their mutual adversary. Funch then informs Gabe about a portal that will open in an hour for 3 minutes, the place where they can find Yulaw. He also shows his self-designed and highly modified hand-portable weapon, but Gabe asserts that he doesn't need any weapons to defeat Yulaw. With the help of Funch's portal tracking device, the two arrive at an industrial plant. Upon entering, Gabe can sense Yulaw's presence and warns Funch about the same. Moments later, they encounter him, and Funch immediately starts firing towards him. However, the latter easily dodges the bullets and runs away. A short while later, Yulaw activates the bomb, which he retrieved from Rodecker earlier. But fortunately, our heroes manage to take cover and survive the huge blast. Following this, Yulaw confronts Gabe, and the two engage in a physical brawl. For the first few minutes, Yulaw, who is professional and more experienced, secures dominance over Gabe. He even manages to knock him down at one point. During this, Gabe notices a mark of his wedding ring on his finger, which reminds him of his late wife. This fills his heart with fury, prompting him to get up and continue fighting with renewed strength. He then eventually manages to gain the upper hand, but only seconds before the portal opens. As a result, the fight remains unfinished, and all three of them are teleported to the MVA headquarters. After this, Yulaw attempts to deceive everyone by swapping places with Gabe. By this point, you'd think Gabe would have given himself a haircut or something. Initially, the MVA officers fall for the ruse and prepare to teleport Gabe to the Hades universe for punishment. However, Funch notices the wedding ring mark on Gabe's finger at the last moment and uncovers the switch. As a result, he alerts the MVA officers about it, who then teleport to reveal Yulaw to the Hades universe. In the aftermath, the MVA proceeds to send Gabe back to his own universe, but Funch argues that if he is teleported back, he will be arrested and put into prison for the crimes that Yulaw committed. Due to this, Funch changes the destination of the portal and sends Gabe to a different universe. As soon as he lands there, Gabe finds an injured dog and takes it to a vet clinic, where he meets another version of TK. This makes him very happy, and he ends up starting a new life with TK once again. Meanwhile, Yulaw, now in the Stygian penal colony in the Hades universe, still remains determined to become the One. He engages in a battle against numerous prison inmates at once. The movie ends with the camera pulling back to reveal an army of inmates confronting Yulaw on top of a pyramid-shaped tower. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.